I don't know about you, as I browsed social media this week, I kept coming across the same meme, or, well, similar versions of the meme. For whatever reason, and I'm curious if anyone has any ideas, it would always be in the front of the car, The Rock Johnson. Okay? You know, the guy who played Moana, or not Moana, the Maui in Moana. Okay? Okay? He'd be in the front of the car, and he'd be driving, and he'd say, while looking out the car, "What are you going to do for Valentine's Day?" And they'd have different female actresses. I think the best one was the woman who plays Wednesday Addams, the new version, the one who dances with her hands. She, sitting in the back, goes, "I'm going to remind people of their mortality." And he looks back with his surprised look. Okay? And she says, "What? You are ash, and to ash you shall return." Okay? Right? But the whole point of that, the reason it's funny, the reason I think it got passed around in all sorts of different versions was because to the world, to the outside world, this idea that Ash Wednesday and Valentine's Day lands on the same day strikes the world as absurd, as strange. Like, is there two more incompatible holidays than these two, right? Valentine's Day is about love. Ash Wednesday is about death. What could be the furthest subjects? But here's the thing. Even though this only happens every so often, last century it happened in 23, 34, and 45. In this century it happens today. Happened again in 2029. And none of us here will probably live to see the next one. It'll be 100 years from 2029 before it pops up again. So here's the thing. I think the world's wrong on this. I think the world's wrong because the reality is, if you don't grasp death, you can't get what life is about. And if you can't get life, you'll never understand love. Let me walk you through why. So we'll start at Ash Wednesday. So Ash Wednesday is a religious holiday where Christians in particular remind themselves that they are dust and to dust they shall return. But there's actually nothing particularly Christian about that statement outside of the fact it's quoting scripture. In fact, I can sit down with a hardened atheist and ask them, "Will you die?" And they'll say yes. Right? This isn't a particularly religious statement. You're going to die, I'm going to die, everyone's going to die, everyone we know is going to die. Yay. Okay? Again, not a particularly religious statement. I can go to the fact that science currently has a 0% success rate on not keeping anyone from ever dying. Right? 0 immortal people out there. It is just the nature of nature. See, the nature of nature is that all things that come together eventually fall apart. It's part of the human experience. That is the reality, no matter what your faith is, no matter what your background is, no matter anything, we're all born into. And when we are faced with reality, especially unpleasant reality like death, you have two choices. You can either figure out how to live with the reality, or the far more popular choice of complete denial. Right? I mean, never underestimate the power of denial. It's a wonderful thing, folks. And so what often happens for folks is that instead of grasping with death and the reality that you are mortal, I am mortal, everyone you know is mortal, everyone will die someday, instead of dealing with the emotions and working through the implications, we just pretend it doesn't happen. Now, when you pretend and you deny, there's a well-known, well-trotted cycle one goes through. The cycle looks like this. When you're your teens and your 20s, you simply tell yourself, "I'm invincible." Right? How many of you in your 20s were invincible? But then comes middle age, comes the 30s and 40s. And in the 30s and 40s, this thing starts to happen. Well, multiple things happen. First of all, how many times you get up at night starts to increase a little. How many drinks you can have before tomorrow's horrible decreases. Right? crow's feet start to creep in. And those hits you take playing football with your buddies hurt just a little bit more. And so that reality of Ash Wednesday creeps up. But don't worry, the world has products to sell you. Anti-aging creams. By the way, also 0% chance are going to make you immortal. Okay? Sports cars. Don't think about it. Buy a sports car. Go lift weights, guys. If you just embrace the, keto diet, you too will be like 20 forever. Right? I mean, come on. All over the place. Every single thing to help you just pretend for a few more years you're not getting older. And then comes your late 40s, 50s, 60s. And this is where if you're still holding out and not yet dealing with the emotions and the reality of death, comes the midlife crisis. That can be minor, as you take up pickleball, or major, as in you blow up your family with an affair. Right? And anywhere in between. See, no matter how you play out that denial game, two things are real. One, it will never make you immortal. And two, you're just wasting time trying to deny something that's inevitable. And what's sad is eventually most people start to figure it out and do at some point in their later era deal with the fact, I'm going to die someday. But by then, much of their life is behind them. And so they start really late in life living it. I think this is why wisdom often comes with age, because the first step of wisdom is grasping with this question. See, if you started early and got Ash Wednesday when you were young, then what you do is you say, okay, I'm gonna die, but I'm not hopefully gonna die today, so what do I do now? And it is that reality that is the beginning of the spiritual journey. The beginning of everything that is meaningful starts off with, okay, I got a finite amount of time. How do I want to spend it? And yes, you can take your time and you can commoditize it and turn it into money and then do things with that money. But your time is the only thing you really have. And you don't know how much you got. And so it's the most valuable thing you can give. And it is this reason why I would say if you don't get death, you don't get life. You don't get life, you don't understand love. Because here's the thing about love, folks. Love is not about poetry. Love is not about songs. Love is not about candy. Love is not about anything that can be bought or sold or even created. That is the lie that art tells us. That is the lie that the card companies tell us. Because what love is really about is being there day in, day out. Sometimes with cards, sometimes with candy, but those are just the high points. What love is really about is showing up emotionally, showing up physically, showing up mentally, being there for your partner in life. That is love. That's why, regardless of Christian denomination, regardless, heck, of a lot of religions, this would be cross-religious opinion here, right? What do we say? We say, getting married for better or worse, richer or poorer, till death do you part. I say that, the Catholic priest down this road says that, heck, the rabbi down the road will say that sometimes. Okay? Why do we say that? Why does religion say that? Because it points at this universal reality of love. That some days are great. Some days are awful. Most days are just normal. But love is not about what you do on the great or what you do on the worst. It's what you do every day. Because you have one thing to give. That is your time. And when two people get married, they hand their time to each other till the end. That is the ultimate show of love for us as a human. I'm not a big fan of cards. I like them. They mean something to me. But my wife knows not to buy me a card. She learned this a long time ago when we were dating. Why? Because she knows deep down in my head what goes on is, okay, so you spent $5 on a card, maybe 30 minutes thinking about what you wrote, 5 minutes writing it. So you're making $5 an hour, so it's like an hour of your time, plus 30 minutes of your time, so you spent so I'm worth an hour and 5 minutes, or hour and 35 minutes. I'd much rather she watch a movie with me. I'd much rather just hold her hand and watch a television show. You know what I even love more? It's just sitting and talking. Why? Because those are the moments where love occurs. Because two people are present with each other. Now, this can be romantic love. This can be friendship too, right? Your best friends are the ones that will sit and have a cup of coffee with you on a good day, on a bad day, on a normal day, and hear your life out. Is what do we have to give? All we have is time. But if you're in denial that you're ever going to die, if you think, I'm the Highlander. Any Gen Xers? No. I tried. Go Google it. It was a great 1980s show and 2 movies, 3 movies maybe? No. Okay, I got a little too. Okay, I got 1 person. I had 3 earlier. 4. All right. Sean Connery all the way. Okay, anyway, so if you think you're immortal, then your time and your giving of it doesn't have the same value in and of itself. It's why those who are running away are so quick to blow up the love that they have in those midlife crises. Because far too often, those folks don't realize what they have when they go try to chase the youth that they thought they lost. See, I think it's perfect, these handful of times that Valentine's Day and Ash Wednesday stand together. Because it reminds us of who we are as humans, what we truly have to offer, and what the deepness and value of love really is. So as you go out today, take a few minutes in your life and ask yourself, do you truly understand the message of Ash Wednesday? Truly willing to accept, you're going to die, I'm going to die. Everyone you know is going to die. Because until you know how to live into that death, it's going to be hard to ever truly love. The way St. Valentine, a man who married people against the will of the government, lost his life for it. On it.